Good morning, friends and family. Welcome back to Faith, Authority, and the Power of Belief. I'm so glad you're here today. Whether you're listening on your way to work, during your quiet time, or just looking for a word to lift your spirit, this is your moment. Today we're going into Mark 11:23 to 33. It's a powerful passage where Jesus talks about faith, forgiveness, and spiritual authority. Three things that, if we understand them, can transform how we live every single day. If you've ever struggled with doubt, unforgiveness, or understanding spiritual authority, this episode is for you. Jesus says in verse 23, "Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go, throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them." Let's pause here. Mountains represent obstacles, immovable, intimidating, impossible things. Jesus is teaching that faith, when rooted in God, has the power to move what seems unmovable. Think about your own life. What's your mountain? Is it financial pressure, a broken relationship, a health struggle? Jesus is not giving us a magic formula. He's pointing us back to God's power. The key is not faith in faith, but faith in God. Verse 24 continues, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Notice the order. Believe first, then see it. That's hard for us because we often want proof before we trust. But real faith looks at the unseen and says, "God, I believe your word, even before I see it in my life." Jesus immediately connects prayer with forgiveness. And when you stand praying, "If you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you your sins." Why does he put these two together? Because unforgiveness blocks faith. It's like trying to drive with the handbrake on. You won't move forward. Think about it. We're asking God to release blessings into our lives, but we're holding people in the prison of our resentment. Jesus says, "Let them go," not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Forgiveness is not saying what they did is okay. It's saying, "I refuse to let your action chain me anymore." That's the posture that opens heaven's doors. Now, verses 27 to 33 shift the scene. Jesus is walking in the temple courts, and the chief priests, teachers of the law, and elders confront him. "By what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you authority to do this?" Here's the tension. The religious leaders were more concerned about control than about truth. Jesus flips the question back, asking them about John the Baptist's authority. Was it from heaven or from men? They refuse to answer because they fear the crowd. What do we see here? Authority without humility becomes oppression. Jesus' authority was rooted in heaven, not human approval. True spiritual authority is recognized by its fruit, not its title. This challenges us today. Whose authority are we living under? Are we driven by people's opinions or by God's calling? In closing, as we wrap up today, faith can move mountains when it's anchored in God. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks answered prayer. And true authority flows from heaven, not from human recognition. Here's a question for you this week. What mountain do you need to speak to in faith? And who do you need to forgive so your prayers aren't hindered? Remember, Jesus has given you the authority to believe, to forgive, and to walk in God's power. Thanks for tuning in. If this message encouraged you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Until next time, keep walking in faith and living under God's authority.